especially if I have guests that are from Germany or that speak German. And we have a little chat in the beginning. It's always hard to remember ourselves that we are switching to English for this podcast. So I'm very happy, Robert, to have you here. So actually, this is the second episode now with Robert. Last week was with Robert, and today is with Robert as well. So welcome, Robert.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I'm really, really happy to be on the podcast. And I hope you're going to have more robots in the future.
Like it. We are very active on LinkedIn, but I'm sitting here in Berlin in Germany, and you are sitting where?
I'm sitting in South Korea, in Seoul, or in the south of Seoul. And yeah, I'm active here in Korea since almost like 10 years.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
The time is passing very fast when you say 10 years. Then, I mean, it's 2014, right? The last 10 years was, yeah. I think as you're getting older, everyone experiences the same thing. Time's flying by. So maybe we can have a look at your upbringing. So where you're coming from and how you get into the world of robotics, automation, manufacturing. And but before we dive into that, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what you're doing actually today.
So at the moment, I have my own company. I also have a Korean partner, so a system integrator. And I'm distributor for a couple of companies. So one of them is, for example, Synapticon. Another one would be Cambridge Robotics. I'm not sure if you know them. Then there's also Spin Robotics, Grip. In the future, there's going to be Sensor Drive. So a
Hmm.
few companies. And they're all in the robotics industry. So all kind of related. They all have similar customers or customers that kind of like so I can like when I go to one customer, I can introduce, for example, the vision system, and then I can also introduce the tool chains from Grip. And so it's kind of like making it easier to sell stuff.
Hmm. I mean, the Korean market, especially for German people, or the Asian markets in general, it's very hard because you always need a translator, right? For micropsy, we do have our first integrator, we have our first partner in Japan, and now we onboarded an American guy that speaks and lives in Japan for quite a while. So things got immediately easier because then you have someone who understands both languages and both cultures.
I think there was one chancellor. He said, if you want to sell stuff in Germany, dann müssen Sie Deutsch sprechen. So yeah, you have to understand not only the language but also the culture. So that's actually very important here, especially in Asia, because it gets a lot. It's a lot of selling through connections, I would say. So if you get introduced by somebody who is already trusted in the field, then it's way easier. So
Hmm.
that's also how I got my first success here in Korea through connections.
Hmm. But we're already diving deep into what you're doing today. Maybe we take a little time to go back and so how do you get in contact with the technology that you're working today, and how did you find your way to Korea? Maybe we can dive into that one.
Okay, so going really, really back. So I'm originally from Munich. I was born and raised there. I went to university in Augsburg. That's where
Hmm.
KUKA is.
Hmm.
Um, Actually, I wasn't raised up with Korean language, so I learned it when I was 20 something ish.
Hmm.
So I really started kind of from zero. As you can tell, I'm mixed. So my mom is Korean, my dad is German.
Hmm.
Funny thing is, so they met in Paris. So my mom used to live in Munich also with as my dad, and they met in Paris and fell in love, and then they dated, and then there was my brother, and then it was me, and yeah. But unfortunately, I didn't or I couldn't learn. I don't know why. I couldn't learn Korean when I was a baby. When I was a child, because at that time there was nothing like the internet where you can just Google how to bring up a kid like bilingual. So that's why there are a lot of mixed kids that don't speak both languages.
Interesting.
But yeah. So now I would say I'm quite fluent. So business meetings normally take place in Korean, of course, and I can understand why people act like they do. But then there's also my German side that kind of thinks, okay, but why are they acting like that? So it's kind of always in between, I would say.
So you're living
Yeah,
in Korea now for 10 years?
10 plus years. Yeah, I think it's almost 12 years now.
Mm.
So first, actually, I came to Korea. I wanted to import tea. So I thought, oh yeah, German tea, because Germany is one of the biggest tea importer and exporter in the world.
Mm.
And I thought, oh yeah, that could be nice, but I didn't know anything about marketing, about sales, about distribution, about anything. I just knew, okay, regulations, okay, if I want to import tea, I'd have to do this and this. But I came here and it was just like, okay, no, it's better not to start. So I got a job at Kotra, which is kind of like the Korean, the, how do you say it? Yaka Aka, the
Hmm.
Chamber of Commerce-ish for Korea. So when I was at Kotra, I was in charge of the education program for the hidden champions. So the German hidden champions. That was my topic. So I learned in Korea about the German hidden champions, and I was really,
Funny.
wow, I didn't know that we have so many world-leading companies. Yeah, because they are hidden. And it was really nice to get to know them. So we made some delegations from Korea to Germany, Swiss, Austria, Italy. And yeah, that's also when I first got in touch with an industry magazine. It's called Maschinenmarkt. And they're actually quite big. They have 700 employees in Germany and a turnover
Hmm.
of like 100 million, which is quite big.
Yeah,
So
impressive.
yeah, part of the Vogel Communications Group. And yeah, after my journey at Kotra, I started the Maschinenmarkt Korea with a Korean partner together because I thought, okay, I want to have a network in the industry. And I'm still kind of related with them. So I'm helping them a little bit here in Korea, and it's still fun. So last week, for example, we had a photo shooting for a manufacturer here in Korea. So we made a shooting of the factory. It was quite nice experience. And that's where kind of like it started to get my professional network.
Mm. And coming going back because you said you're about to start importing tea. So when you said you were born and raised in Germany and then you went to university, you didn't give us an idea about what you were studying.
Oh,
So
sorry. Yeah, business administration. So I don't know anything yet. I know all and nothing. Yeah,
okay,
business.
that's so when you so the time that you entered robotics and automation manufacturing, so this all happened when you came to Korea?
Yes, yes.
Interesting.
So I didn't have any technical background. So by reading, writing, by making some research, I got to know the companies. By talking to the people, I kind of got to know, okay, how to like what a CNC machine is. I didn't really care, I would say, before.
Hmm.
And it's just interesting. It's really interesting to see how things are manufactured, how the whole automation is going on, and to see it's really interesting.
Yeah, I think a lot
Yeah,
of people. Sorry.
no, and a lot. I think what I did in my whole life was a lot of like learning by doing and just
Hmm.
like learning by being interested.
I mean, keeping kids curious, I think this is the biggest thing we can do, right? Because if we showing them that everything can be interesting, right? And if we are feeding that curiosity, or that characteristic of being curious, I think it helps, as you said, in learning different fields. If I want to learn a language, if I want to learn about a new topic, if I want to learn about a new place or people or whatever it is, being curious and asking questions, because asking a question is the key to an answer, right? Asking a question can open the door to a new world. And you said that you were not in contact with this whole robotic automation thing before, but then you started reading, you started research, you started talking to people. So asking questions gave you the ability to that all those answers were coming to you, right? And I really love that because it shows that you're now, I think you're robotic voice number one on LinkedIn in Korea, right? Or in the Asian market. And then even though you are not an engineer, and that shows if you're curious, you can learn so many things about it, and it doesn't. And I think what's interesting is that you should not be afraid of these kind of things, right? Only because you haven't learned them yet, and you just prove this with learning one of the, I guess, most complex languages, because it's different from just learning Spanish or learning English. Learning an Asian language is always very difficult, and you said you did this in your 20s, so when you're already not a kid anymore, and this by being curious and asking questions, very interesting. So when you came to Korea, how did you manage? Is it I'm asking very simple questions now. Maybe you can answer them. So walk me through. You think, I can import tea to Korea because Germany, there's a lot of people that like tea and there's good quality tea in Germany. So maybe I could go to Korea. So what happened? How can I imagine myself seeing you there?
So actually, I just talked to a lot of people, talked to my friends, and just like when I was in Germany, I thought, oh yeah, Korea, tea would be a good match. And but when I eventually came here, I just saw people are not interested in drinking tea. At least they were not at the moment. So I just thought, okay, that's gonna be too tough. And I didn't have any network, no experience. So I just thought, no, let's not do that.
How old were
Yeah, but
you?
there are a lot of, hmm?
How
Sorry,
old were you when you started this TX adventure?
24-ish, 5-ish, something like that. But it was really, really short. It really just like dip in and oh, sorry, no, that's not my cup of tea, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, if you look at my LinkedIn profile, you can also see that I did not only work for the Maschinenmarkt, but there were also different steps in between. So there were also different industries that I kind of like dipped into and that I also learned a lot about. And yeah, that I also had quite fun in. So one of them would be, for example, Packative. It's a startup that I founded together with an Austrian friend.
Hmm.
And it's an online editor or an online tool where you can design your own packaging and you can also order and we produce it for you.
Mm.
So in low quantities, so from 50 pieces on. And that's something that was not there in Korea yet. So we did the whole, so my friend did the whole coding, the whole platform, everything. We did the whole marketing together. So now I think Packative is like if you're looking for boxes in Korea, they're one of the top 10 keywords, I think. So we did quite a good job. We also got some VC money, but because we got the VC money, also there were a little bit more struggles between the two co-founders. So
Mm.
that's where we kind of decided to part.
Mm.
So yeah, but that's also what I did for 2 or 3 years and totally new industry. And we also kind of like started from nothing and just like, okay, well, how to make a box, how to print, different papers, cardboard. Yeah, it was quite fun and
And
totally different.
where and how many people have you been at the end?
We were just 5 people,
Hmm.
and now there are 10, more than 10 people, I think.
Are you still in contact?
Not that often, I would say.
I mean, sometimes things take time. Maybe there's not enough time. There was not enough time between last time and this time. But yeah, I mean, reach out and say hi, and because today you thought about them, and it's always interesting because you're in the heat of the moment, and then afterwards, if there's no grudges, if nothing like bad happened, I think there's always a good opportunity to reconnect. And it was part of your life, right? So and you are young, and we do all know some of us working in startups, some of you guys founded startups. Um, it is stressful. It is as every job can be, right? And there are times that are very life-changing, and they're very crucial. And so we get to know each other in the extremes, right? But we do know need to consider that this is not the people who we are. Some people have other see it differently. So no, this shows who we really are. But I mean, it's easy to say if you're not under that kind of pressure, right? I don't want to go in any historical situations, but uh, doing finger pointing and saying I would have done this and that, it's very easy to say if we're not in the same shoes, right? So sometimes if the pressure is very high and in startups and VC money, it can be very high, right? Because the expectation is there, and sometimes you do things in thinking bad in retro perspective. You think, why 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 did I did what I did, right? And yeah, anyways, this was my thoughts on that. So now we are in this same industry, so to speak. Um, but maybe you can tell me a little bit more about coming over, the key things behind. You said you've been a founder, but what I'm really interested in is the I can do this. Let's do this. Let's try out. So I'm interested in that kind of mentality, that kind of character. So how did that came together? Because you already jumped over the ocean, and you already said, okay, I did this and that. But the point in Germany, being raised and born in Germany, to decide, you know what, I'm gonna try this one. I'm gonna go over and I try my luck. I mean, it didn't matter if it goes good or well. I'm trying this. So what happened? So how did you? What was the? What was the? How do you say this in English? What? Yeah, what made it happen
Um,
in your mind?
I think like when I was in university, when I was studying business administration, there are so many people who are studying the same thing.
Hmm.
And as I thought, okay, how can I differentiate myself? That's where I thought, okay, what shall I do? And then I was here in Korea. There was a trip for the second generation for Koreans. So I was here for 1 week, and it was so much fun. It was the first time that I saw Korea like with the eyes of a grown up, and not just like meeting my aunts, going to the countryside. I saw the real big city of Seoul. Saw the lights, the subway automation, like where you just put your card, and was wow. And you could pay the taxi also with the same card, and that was really a long time ago.
Hmm.
And I didn't really know that Seoul is that like industrialized and that high tech. And it was just fun. I was like, oh yeah, I should maybe work here or maybe work for a Korean company in Germany. But first, I have to learn Korean. And that's
Hmm.
also how I can differentiate myself and can be a little bit different. And yeah, I kind of wanted to take advantage of that. And that's where kind of like where my journey started. And now I have the feeling I would say, yeah, I can just do it. I can, anything I start, I can do it. So
I
actually
love
also with the,
this idea
yeah.
and this feeling. Can I ask a question about regarding the language? So I have an Albanian father. So I was raised by my mother, so I don't speak Albanian. For him, as a very proud Albanian, as all Albanians are, it's a shame that I don't speak Albanian. But I mean, as an adult, choosing a language that not too many people speak. I mean, Korea is a big country, especially if you compare it to Albania. So I wouldn't say the benefits of it because it shouldn't be the reason why you're doing it. But if I learn Spanish, if I learn English, if I learn, so I can go to so many countries and do so many things, right? But if I learn Albanian, there's there's just a very small place on earth where people speak Albanian. I mean, there's Albanians all over the place, so I don't want to offend my Albanian heritage here. But when it comes to Korean, it's the same thing, right? So they only speak Korean in Korea, right?
Yeah, in South Korea and in North Korea.
Yeah. But you said,
And
okay, I would like to learn the language. And so how is that for your mother and how is that for you? How about your brother? Does he know? Does he speak Korean or you are now, please tell me more.
so my brother, he doesn't really speak any Korean at all.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and actually, with my mother, I also speak only German. So
Mm,
her German is really perfect.
mm,
So that would be really awkward to talk in Korean with her.
mm,
So actually, this year, my girlfriend and me, we've been to Germany
mm-hmm.
the second time, and to also meet my parents, and we went to Switzerland. But it was really strange because my girlfriend, of course, she's talking with my mom in Korean,
Mm.
but I kind of felt awkward, so I just talked in German with my mom, even if my girlfriend was around. So it was kind of like it still feels awkward to talk in Korean with my mom.
Do you think you can overcome that one? Because look what you accomplished, what you achieved, and even though you both speak your mother tongue, uh,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be interesting because I read somewhere that if you're speaking a different language, you are a different person. Because, uh, yeah, please.
Yeah, of course, you have a different tone. So I have my English speaking voice and I have my German speaking voice, and then I have my Korean speaking voice. And you're definitely a total different person, I would say.
So you
That's
think you
also,
can
of
do it?
course, do you mean speak in Korean or
No, no. Do you think you can do it to speak to your mother in her mother tongue?
I think, yeah, should be no problem.
Yeah, you should do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's easier when it's really strange. Talking with the friends of my mother in Korean, it's no problem at all. But with my mom, I just talk in German my whole life, and just switching is takes some time, I guess. Yeah, and
I
it's
think
also
it's
the thing
please.
because there's also there is we don't have it in English, but in German we have the duzen and siezen, and it's the same in
Hmm.
Korean. So we have kind of like a honorific form, and it sounds strange, but I don't know if I should like how I should announce my mom. Like, should I say duzen or siezen? Like, shall I call her in a honorific way or not? So those kind of things. Like
How do they do that in Korea?
in Korean, some use the honorific form for their parents.
Hmm.
Some do it for just the dad, and for the mom, they speak like very colloquial.
Hmm.
So it's very different. But yeah, it's kind of like because for me, it's I learned it, so I don't know. It's not really natural for me to. Yeah, I don't know what to choose.
We will find out in the future. You will definitely tell me afterwards if you tried it out to speak to your mother in her mother tongue. But coming back to the business, when you first entered this world of robotics and automation, you said there are a lot of things were new for you. And what advice would you give? You already gave the best advice you can give, actually, be curious. But and networking, I think these two things can bring you so far. But you already said that the Korean market is very specific, right? So Asian culture is much different than the German one, and you are now trying, yeah, you're doing pretty successfully, being in both worlds at home. But what would you say is the one of the biggest differences? Are you still doing business with Germany, and are you still, excuse me, are you still doing business with European companies within Europe?
So I'm the distributor for the companies that I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, there are some Korean companies that want me to export their or to help me
Mm-hmm.
to export their products. But it's kind of hard because if I have European products, normally they differentiate themselves because of their high tech, or at least they have something or have some certification, and they're just different. And Korean products normally they differentiate through the price. So they're
Okay.
making good quality products for a good price, I would say. So they're always looking, okay, it has to be cheap. But the quality normally is good enough, I would say. So I think that's the biggest difference. But yeah, and being now here in Korea, for me, it makes more sense to import and to help German, especially German companies to enter the market, I would say. And I'm really happy because I have like those products, for example, like here from Synapticon, like server drives,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not only pretty, but they're also yeah can help you to build a robot like very fast, I would say.
Mm.
Um, so it's integrated motion devices, what they call them. So it's not only servo drives. So you have the functional safety included, you have the encoders included, you have also a holding brake included. So everything that you need. And they're also doing really good in Europe. So some companies that you know are probably already using that. And just to have those kind of products to import to Korea, it makes it a little bit easier, I think.
Mm.
Just to have something that's really different, that has some USP.
One question that I have when it comes to distributor, a very or the few that I know, they have like a showroom, so you can actually take your customers and show them on on site in office. So these are the machines, these are the robots, these are the use cases that you could probably do. Some of them use it even as a training facility. So how is that for you? Do you have do you have something like that? Are you, because you say you're distributing for the companies, or are you doing nowadays, as everything's happening online, these things are happening yeah, virtually?
So normally I just take the drives. I just take the drives, just show them, and that's it at the moment. So we also have some other customers. For example, here, another product would be the Integral. It's an
Okay.
integrated model, the drive integrated. For that, we just have the products or the test products that we import and that we just test at the customer side.
Mm.
There's also another company called Sensor Drive. They
Hmm.
have a really, really nice robot. I have to talk to them. It would be really nice to have that robot here in Korea, but at
Hmm.
the moment, they only have one robot. They're making a second robot at the moment.
Okay.
Having that here in place, that would be really nice because it feels different. The whole kinematics, it just feels very nice. So
The
at the moment, yeah, no showroom, but just products to show.
Mm. I mean, it's not always necessary to have a showroom, especially as you now explained how you carry the products actually with you to the customer, right? Um, how would you say the engineers on both sides are they differ? Because I see very often that, for example, the sales and the marketing team have totally different approaches when it comes to Germany or overseas. Because Robotics has an American entity as well, and I'm now repeating myself, but German engineers, it's a little bit tricky with having innovative stuff because the black number in front of it. So from a money perspective, the ROI needs to be very clear and very short, and the value needs to be shown very early on. Otherwise, the project will die. So how is that with Korean or with Korean engineers or Korean companies?
So I think I would say Korean engineers are really one of the best engineers in the world, I would say. They have really, really nice stuff, and they're doing it quite efficient, I would say sometimes. So there are other companies that want to sell their automation, like normally like robotics companies, they have their automation division, and normally they are not able to sell that in Korea because the Korean companies are much cheaper and also better, and they're doing a lot of customization, which German companies won't do. So because they really, to be honest, they're quite customer oriented, I would say. So when the customer says, okay, I want it this way, German companies say, sorry, that costs this and this and this. You want to pay for that? Normally the customer says no. And Korean engineers, they just do it. And then they say, oh yeah, maybe you can just something like sometimes they charge for that and sometimes not. So it's, to be honest, for the engineers itself, it's maybe not that nice because they're working quite a lot. Yeah, but they're doing quite a good job.
So I mean, because somebody needs to pay for it in the very end, right? So and as customizations are always expensive, so there's a reason why the majority of companies are trying to avoid them, because customization means more resources allocated to that specific customer, right? And especially if you need volume to survive, say okay, every single customer has his own requirements, and I think you just mentioned that, right? That in Germany, you said, okay, we can do this, but this costs extra, right? And so that when we work together with the engineers and we would like to sell the product or show how our product works, so no, I need to see how it works in my line. I need to see how it works with my product. I need to see how it works in my environment. And very often they are very similar, but they would like to have the customization outsource, because otherwise you get the product and then you need to make the product fit into your environment, versus what you're saying, this part of customization part, or this effort part, goes back to the Korean company and to the Korean engineers. Do you yeah.
Something that I also want to add is it's also a lot about let's say trust sometimes. So friend of mine is doing a production line for a company at the moment, and he got he didn't even get a contract or something. It's just okay, let's do the contract, let's do the production line, and he's investing big money at the moment, and he didn't get any payment yet, and it's just about, and he just trusts that he's gonna get the money, and that wouldn't happen in Germany. In Germany, you would have a contract, you would have Lastenheft and Pflichtenheft and all those things. And in Korea, he didn't have time for making that, and he just said, "Okay, let's do the project, and I trust you. I trust that you're gonna." They just kind of said, "Okay, it's gonna cost like 3 million, and let's do it." And that's kind of like the fast thing, the bali bali you say in Korea. So just do it fast, just do it, and then later talk about the details, I would say. So like while doing the project, let's talk about the details. And that's also why Korean companies sometimes can be so fast, and also because they have a lot of like a top-down approach. I'm not sure if that also is the case in Germany. I think not. So in Germany, normally the engineers can also say, okay, oh no, that doesn't make sense. But in Korea, it's just like if the CEO says, okay, we do it, then it's gonna be done.
Yeah, I think it definitely gives you an advantage, and you just mentioned it. Very often in the sales negotiations, you see an engineer saying no. And I think here startups will do a very good job, or will do themselves a favor if they understand how their partners or their customer work. Because and I think Germany or German companies would do a good job when it comes to innovation, as you said, to not have the engineer the last word. Because if you're doing it like that, innovation is very hard. Because if you have a very long list of, you were just mentioning that, if you have a very long list of requirements that all needs to be checked, then how can you do innovation? Because you need to check 45 requirements versus I see the value in this product at the very end, trying to figure out how to make it work. And I really like this customer focus. So I'm using this example very often. Whoever hears the podcast, I do have a colleague who sits right next to me, and his name is Robert too. He's an engineer, and we have discussions about things. And here I can see how more customer driven I am, because he said, "Yeah, but this is not how it works." I say, "Make it work," because the customer doesn't. The normal person, or even not normal person, I mean, the majority of people don't care what's behind. From an engineering point of view, I can understand, but from a customer point of view, I don't care how this machine works. I care about the results that I have, right? And if especially tech founders, and we are in the deep tech niche, they need to understand this. You don't need to find a problem that is working for your solution. You need to find solutions for existing problems. And so I think it's very interesting that you say in Korea, people do it the other way around. The CEO sees the value of it, hopefully, because if he doesn't and makes the engineer work, then it wouldn't work out very well in the long term. But he sees the value, and this is his job, right? Seeing the long-term value for the company. And you do need to find a way to make this work because there is value in it. And if you say you block and say no because of the little detail, I and my team need to work on that. And I think this is the reason why so many topics here in Germany are so slow. And we struggle a lot with those IT topics because you have a very small IT team sitting somewhere who's responsible for the entire IT division in the company and says we can't do this because of this and that. And there's some regulations, right? But 1,000 people need to suffer because this small team of IT says we can't do it because of this and that. Yeah, I'm curious to hear more on your side because otherwise it can go on for ages.
Yeah, the whole regulation stuff, also something like GDPR.
Mm,
That's something that is also kind of like took place here in Korea. So now you can't just like spam any people. You have to
mm,
write, okay, it's an advertisement. Then you still can spam people. But in Germany, like people are taking it so serious. It kind of blocks the whole sales funnel, I would say.
mm,
And like, how many people will there really be that kind of say, okay, oh, you sent me an email. I'm gonna call the police or something like this. Like in the end, there's not gonna be somebody. They're gonna block your email and that's it.
mm.
Companies, they have a whole process for the whole GDPR and making it too complicated.
I mean, I do see my mailbox being spammed by people in our industry. So I can just imagine the mailbox from my VP marketing or my sales colleagues. So I think we do need to find the right balance, as always, between having this kind of regulation and still have some space for innovation. One question that I have is we do have some customers in Korea as well. We already had some customer visiting Germany, our office in Berlin. And what I really like is the um, like being so focused and being so curious and would like to know the product inside out. And as you said, Korean engineers, I think they have long working hours because they were always asking us upfront, can we stay longer than your normal office hours? And no, seriously. So I said, okay, as we have an international team and we have people that can adjust their working time because we have machine learning engineers. Some of them they start very late because they are working very late, and so we have people that are in the office longer than the usual office hours. But mm, as a German who was raised in Germany and has a, let's say, German understanding of how things are working, right? I mean, in a startup you could work on Sundays too, but in corporate there's almost no no opportunity. I'm not talking about shift work, right? But as a normal office person in BMW, Mercedes, you would not work on a Sunday. Or yesterday was 1st of May, you would not work on a holiday. So how's that now that you are in Korea and people have it's very well known that people are working very long hours.
It's definitely getting better. It's improving a lot, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So there are also some regulations. So the last president set some regulations in place so that you're not allowed to work more than 52 hours per week.
Mm-hmm.
The new president wants to skip that rule again. But also like the big companies like Hyundai, like Samsung, they have also their focus on work-life balance, because you have to have this to get the good people. That's really important. And also small and medium enterprises are more focused on really keeping their employees happy, I would say.
Mm.
But yeah, still like if there's work, you have to work. It's not like in Germany that you say, oh, sorry, it's 5 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock, I go home. And I think in Germany also it kind of changed with the whole working from home, that you might work longer hours. But yeah, I would say it improved a lot. So
Mm.
it's not like working 15 hours a day. But if you have to work longer, then you work longer, and yeah.
I think there's a debate going on at the moment. What about working less? And I think some voices in Germany say, okay, I mean, productivity is. I mean, you can raise the productivity, or this is what you hope when you do automation, and yeah, but you have people that would like to have a work-life balance, right? And then there's other people saying, if for example, if you're founding a startup, there is no balance. There shouldn't be any balance because the market is so hard, right? And still 9 out of 10 startups are not making it. So, and then you have other countries where people are hungry, where people are very well educated, and everyone is just waiting to get a chance, right? Indian people, African people, or people from Africa, people from India, and just a friend of mine. She is German engineer, but she's working in Mexico, and she says being an engineer in Mexico is nothing special. There's so many people being an engineer, right? And they are working so many long hours, and they're very cheap, right, compared to German engineers. And so the competitiveness of Germany or countries where people would like to have a more balanced life, because I'm in that situation too, right? I have a child now, and I could not think about when I was younger. I was working long hours, and now I think this time is over. I do would like to have a little bit of time for my family, and I think it's very challenging for an economy, and but for the people as well. And interesting that you say you do see a shift in Korea as well. I think much slower, I guess, as in Germany, but it is there. How was it for you when you came first to Korea to see people? How many days of vacation do you have?
The first company I worked for, I had 12
Hmm,
12
yeah,
days.
damn.
And the funny thing is, when you're sick, you have to use your holiday, your vacation. So if you're sick for 5 days, you have. So when I first started at Kotra, I got sick because they didn't have a, like, it was just too cold in the whole building,
Hmm,
and I got the flu right in the first week. I was off
hmm,
for 2 days, and I kind of started with -2 vacation days. And I was really shocked. I was sick. I didn't take a vacation. Yeah, but you have to take your vacation. So it was a little bit, yeah, shocking, I would say. And but it's not only like in some companies, especially like in small and medium enterprises, what you have some CEOs that like to drink. That also kind of like changed a little bit. So the team meetings where you go drinking the whole night,
Mm,
that's
mm,
actually also for some people considered as work, I would say, because you can't just not go there.
mm,
Those kind of things also improved a lot. Like there were companies that went drinking like 4 days a week with their customers, with their team, with the team from other divisions. And I think that kind of also improved. So also probably through Corona, so less drinking.
mm.
Yeah. So it's all shifting a little bit.
I mean, it's for me, it is very interesting to see the cultural differences, right? And to see that because in the very end, what we should do with globalization, right, is finding things that are working very well for other countries, right, and see how can we adapt, how can we, I mean, the let's take our vacation days for being ill would not be something I would consider a great idea for Germany. I have 30. Normally, you have like 30 days, or I think the minimum is 20 days or 24 days. You need to. They need to give you. I think the majority of companies giving 30 days of vacation. So I'm thinking about, okay, let's say I break my leg. So then I start the year with 30 days minus 30 minus vacation days, and I can take vacation in 2 years. Is it how it works, or
Yeah, I think so.
oh, interesting. Okay,
So
okay.
and also like when I first started here in Korea, so I also did an internship at Siemens,
Hmm.
small internship for half a year.
Mm-hmm.
And my team leader at the moment was also one of the first people at Siemens who took, I think it was 3 weeks in a row of vacation because he went to Europe with his two sons, and he just said, "Okay, I have to go to Europe. I have to make some memories together, some happy memories with my sons." And he was one of the first people in Siemens Korea that took that long vacation.
Mm.
And yeah, he was kind of like leading in that way, I would say. And now it's kind of like normal to get like 2 weeks or 3 weeks of vacation, at least at
Mm.
Siemens. But in other companies, it's still like if you're taking 3 weeks of vacation at another company, they would want to say, "Oh, when you're back, oh, I thought you left the company." Um, yeah. So normally, also like when you get married, and you're going on vacation, normally it's just 1 week of vacation that you take.
Mm. Crazy.
So
Mm. So when you said that now that you are having a few a few companies that you're working for as a distributor, you have the startup scene behind you, and your very little short adventure in the world of tea. So what is next? This is always I'm asking. So this is a recurring topic, obviously. What is next for Robert in Korea? Do you see yourself? So this friend of mine, she is in Mexico, and she is now working for an Austrian company, and she visited, I think, the first time in 3 years Europe, and so she was in Austria for 2 weeks. And my question is, do you see yourself coming back to Germany anytime soon? Do you think this is finally the place where you think you are at home? And you were mentioning your Korean girlfriend. So what is in place for you?
I think I'm quite happy at the moment. So
Mm,
working together with the companies at the moment, we have good potential customers here. Um, it's really nice products. They're developing new products. Um, so with that, I'm really, really happy, I would say. Korea itself is a really nice country to live in. The food is really good.
mm,
The weather is also okay-ish. It's a little bit too hot for me.
mm,
As long as the air pollution is not gonna worsen, then probably gonna stay here. Like there were actually a couple of years when I thought, okay, going back to Germany because the pollution was so bad, uh, you couldn't really breathe when you go outside, and you had to cough like after 15 minutes when you were taking a walk. So it was like the years before Corona.
mm,
But besides that, I'm really happy, and I think I can't go back to Germany because I'm kind of used to the whole service here in Korea. Like food delivery is really good and fast. Ordering things online, products online. When I order at 11 p.m., I get it in the morning at 6 a.m. Um, that's something I probably can't. I will totally miss in Germany. Also, like the convenience stores. Like I can like if I want to drink a beer, if I want to have a snack at night, I can go there at like 3 a.m. in the morning. There's always gonna be a store within 200 meters where I can buy something when I need a toothbrush or some, yeah, anything. Yeah. So I think I'm quite happy to stay here in Korea and just sometimes go back to visit my family and to visit Europe, to visit other countries. But I think this is going to be my base for the future.
Hmm. I mean, let's see how things are working out. I mean, I am living in Berlin the majority of my life, and so now I'm a father for 11 months now today.
Mhm.
Um, and I mentioned this earlier, so I'm leaving Micropsy. So my last official day at Micropsy was last week. So this month I'm having a paternity leave, 1 month off. I think might be unheard of in Korea. And so I'm starting my new job in June, and I am leaving Berlin because now I have other priorities, right? And I do love having three opera houses here. I do like there's a Korean place just around the corner. There's so many good food options in Berlin. Not as cheap as they used to, but there's still a lot of good places. And even though I'm not as happy anymore with the public transport, it's still existing. It's still very good compared to other cities, right? And but yeah, I'm leaving the big city for a smaller town, and I'm interested in to see how things are developing for you, because right now these kind of things you were just mentioning are very convenient for you as an adult in the position that you are in your life, right? But I'm curious to see how things will, or maybe not, will not change for you when you have when you have kids, because then you see, do I really need food at 3 o'clock in the morning? I'm going to bed at 9 anyways. So, right. So
But
let's
still,
see
like
how things are going.
probably I'm not gonna have want to have the food at 3 a.m., but maybe diapers or something like that. Um, so it's always good to have some convenience.
Yeah,
But
true.
just curious, so you're leaving Berlin for
I haven't
where?
mentioned, I think I mentioned it to you because you were asking me, because you were a
No, you mean
very,
the city?
very, yeah, the city is, so my wife yesterday went to, this is something I can mention. She went to Stuttgart. So it is near Stuttgart, or is in the surrounding of Stuttgart. And let's see what will happen. I mean, we still haven't found something yet. So I'm still in the middle of finding something to live. And so the place she was at yesterday, there was it's a very rural area, and there's yeah, good places to go outside with a child to play and to just wander around and enjoying fresh air. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one, because I can't stand the big city anymore. So I've seen a lot of big cities, and but I think right now it's not countryside. It's still Germany. Germany's very dense, right, when it comes to cities and villages. But yeah, um, let's see how things are working out for you. I'm very happy that you took the time and that you said I gave you some insights in my life and my life here in Korea. I'm very happy that you are happy. And I think you asked me what kind of fair I'm going to. Unfortunately, it seems that this year um, I will not be joining any fair soon. There's the Automate coming up, right, next week. And this is very sad because this will be after Micropsy and before my new company. So it's just in the middle. And it would have been a very nice opportunity. Next year, I think the Automate will happen in Detroit. Let's
Are you
see.
gonna join the Automatica next year? in
Most
Munich?
likely, yes. I guess so. It's so obvious that I guess that my new company will definitely join. This was the first time I heard about the new company that I'm working for, right? I
Mm.
went to the Automatica, I think it was 2022, and I was, yeah, just amazed by the technology and all the different projects they're working on. And yeah, so maybe let's see if we can meet. It seems like you have the
I'm gonna be
Automatica
there.
20. Yeah, nice.
I'm
Okay,
definitely gonna be there.
then we have a date, obviously. I
Great.
will try to see you there. Thanks, Robert, for taking the time. I hope you had as much fun as I did, and looking forward to see you in real life.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, and see you on Automatica 2025.
That's a deal. Take
Okay.
care.
Yeah.
Bye
Bye.
bye.